Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we are diving deep into your mind's hidden operating system and how you can literally rewrite the code to change your life.
All right, let's just jump right in with a fact that might blow your mind. Researchers estimate that a staggering 95% of your life, we're talking your thoughts, your habits, your emotional reactions, is run not by you consciously, but by your subconscious mind on complete autopilot.
Think about what that really means. It means that from the way you brush your teeth, to how you react in traffic, to your deepest held beliefs about yourself, you are mostly operating from a pre-written script. A script that got loaded in a long time ago.
Now, this autopilot is great for routine stuff, right? It frees up your conscious mind so you don't have to relearn how to drive every morning. But here's the catch. It doesn't just run simple habits, it runs the deep, fundamental programs that literally create your reality.
So you really have to grasp the sheer scale of what's happening here. You know that classic iceberg analogy, where your conscious mind is just the tiny little tip you can see above the water? Well, the real power, the real driver of your life, is that massive, hidden structure underneath.
And if you want to talk about power, just look at these numbers. Every single second, your senses are taking in about 11 million bits of information. But your conscious mind, it can only handle about 40. 40! So what happens to the rest? It all gets processed by the subconscious. It's not just a little bigger, it's on a completely different level.
So what's actually stored down there in that giant iceberg? Well, it's basically your core software. This is the programming you picked up as a kid, stuff you learned from your family, your friends, your culture, way before you were even old enough to think critically about it. These are the patterns about money, about relationships, about your own self-worth that are quietly running the show.
But here is the absolute best part, the game changer that modern neuroscience now confirms. This programming is not permanent. You're not stuck. You actually have the ability to go in and update your own internal software.
So, how? How is this even possible? Well, let's get into the science of it, because it's pretty incredible. There are really two key principles that open the door and let you become the programmer of your own mind.
Okay, this chart basically shows you the language of your brain. See, when you're awake and alert, you're in that busy beta state. And in that state, your conscious mind is like a tough gatekeeper. But when you relax and you drop into the slower states of alpha and theta, that gatekeeper kind of steps aside. And that gives you direct access to the subconscious. This is the gateway for reprogramming.
And the second piece of the puzzle is this amazing concept called neuroplasticity. For the longest time, science thought the adult brain was basically fixed, hardwired. We now know that's completely wrong. Your brain is constantly changing, reorganizing itself, and building new pathways based on what you think and what you experience.
You've probably heard this famous saying in neuroscience, and it perfectly sums up how this works. Every time you have a thought, or repeat an action, or feel an emotion, you're strengthening the brain circuits for it. You are physically wiring new habits and beliefs into your brain's structure.
Okay, but does just thinking about something actually create real physical change in your brain and even in your body? The scientific proof here is, well, it's absolutely stunning.
Check this out. In a famous Harvard study, they had one group of people physically practice a simple piano piece. A second group, they just mentally rehearsed it. They imagined playing it without ever touching the piano. The result? The part of the brain that controls finger movements grew almost identically in both groups. It turns out your brain literally can't tell the difference between a real experience and one you vividly imagine.
If that's not enough, another incredible study at the Cleveland Clinic found that people could increase their physical muscle strength just by visualizing exercises. They got stronger without lifting a single weight. This just proves the direct, powerful link between what you're thinking and your actual physical body.
So, the science is clear. The mind can change the brain. The question now is, how do we actually do it? Let's get practical. Here's a simple but really powerful toolkit to start consciously rewiring your own brain.
And you see how these three techniques work together, right? First, meditation is what gets you into that suggestible alpha and theta state. It opens the door to the subconscious. Second, affirmations give you the new code you want to install. Simple, positive statements you repeat to overwrite old limiting programs. And finally, visualization. That mental rehearsal creates the detailed blueprint for your brain, getting those neurons to fire and wire together into a whole new reality.
But remember, this isn't a magic trick.
It's training. And that old myth about a habit taking 21 days? Well, research shows it's actually closer to an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become truly automatic. It's consistency that turns your conscious effort into a brand new subconscious program.
And that leaves us with one last, powerful question to think about. We've seen the hard science. We know your thoughts can build physical muscle and literally rewire your brain. So, what else can they build? It seems the only limit is what you're willing to imagine. What new reality are you going to start building today?